Yes. And can you share a specific travel moment that became a story or character in one of your books other than like well, I mean, we mentioned your mentor, that was one. You did mention, well, the mermaid, of course, you have all the different, well, there's sort of characters anyways. Whether you're speaking of the creatures of the sea, there's still characters in the whole book. So, but other
Right.
than that, are there any other characters that you feel are noteworthy that we should look out for when we read any of the books? Or, or anyone look coming up?
I don't want to give any spoiler alerts.
Okay.
But one of my favorite characters was from the Algarve, which is a beautiful stretch along Spain and Portugal. And
Okay.
we sailed into these little tiny fishing villages and would anchor there for a day or two. And I got to walk among the people, and I got to just sit down and watch these fishermen and what they do and how simple their lives are and how different their culture is from anything that I've experienced. And so one of my characters, Sophia, is this little girl that grew up in one of these fishing villages in the Algarve. So
Okay.
she's kind of special to me because I pictured her living in this village and I wrote about her life. And I don't know where this stuff comes from, but it would just flows onto the paper, and these characters, like, they have a life of their own. When I start writing, they take over. Um, and then another one that's kind of special to me is the sailor, of course. And the funny part is, you know, there's horses in this book. There's horses that actually each person has an encounter with a horse who looks inside their soul and
Yeah.
decides if they appreciate the gifts of the earth.
Yeah.
So my sailor buddy there, he shipwrecked on one of the islands in the French Polynesians. And as I'm writing this book, I'm researching horses from every location in the world that a character comes from. So I learned so much about these horses that came to the Marquesan Islands. And I know how their ancestors got here, and I know about their evolution and how they ended up on these little tiny islands. And so the first time that we crossed the Pacific, we came to the island of Kivaoa. And it was our first experience in the French Polynesians, our first walk off the boat. We had to go check into the country and do all the paperwork. And then we're walking down a road, and there comes a herd of horses. And they're not in fences or pastures, they're just walking down the road, and they're all friendly. Excuse me, they're all friendly. And I just got so excited, and I ran up to them, and I just had to hug one. I'm like, I know where you came from. I know where your ancestors came from. And they just were exactly like I pictured. And I just like teared up, and I'm like, I wrote about you. I know you.
Wow.
And it just was very emotional for me to meet these creatures that I had researched and envisioned and put into my story. And then here I am on this little island meeting them.
Again, divine timing. They came to meet you. You spoke of them, so they came to meet you. That's amazing.
Yeah.
That is amazing. Very nice, Alison. And what would you say is one of the biggest lesson travel has taught you that you think every adventure should probably know about or should probably be aware of?
Actually, there's two things. One is that you have no idea how the majority of the world lives and their values and their cultures and the things that are important to them until you go and you're among them and you live there. And you think you have this conception, and it's nothing like you think. You
That's
know,
right.
going into Turkey, into Istanbul, and the kindness and the generosity of those people was absolutely astounding. And just living among them for a week, I learned so much and how kind they are. And they're a totally different religion and a totally different race of people, but humans are the same, you know, when it
Mhm.
comes down to it as people. But our cultures are very, very different. And you can't imagine that. You can't get it by reading. You can't get it by watching TV. You have to go and you have to experience it yourself. And these people on these Marquesan Islands, again, totally different than the people in Istanbul, but these beautiful, amazing souls. And I've so enjoyed like getting to know them and being invited into their homes and having dinner with them, because it's the kind of thing that happens. You meet them and you're nice to them, and they're like, come to my house for dinner. And you get to sit among their families and see how they treat
That's
their elders and their
amazing.
children.
That is
Oh, trying
absolutely
to reconnect.
amazing. Wow.